Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Couch Chronicles. I'm Kristen,
I'm Kelsey.
and today we're going to talk about our worst first dates. I think we have some housekeeping, like life updates to talk about first.
Yes. Okay. Quick life update for me. All my close friends and family know that I have lymphedema in my leg, and I recently had surgery on it after waiting almost 11 years.
Woohoo!
And the surgery was a success. So he was able to build 6 bridges from my lymph nodes to my vein. And I have to wear like ace bandaging all up my leg for 3 weeks. No activities that are more strenuous than walking for 6 weeks. And then I may or may not see results in 3 months. So
I think you will.
I hope so. That's the process, but it did go well and he was happy about it. So that's my update.
Yay!
Yay. The other thing that I wanted to say before we get into our worst first dates is I'm sort of realizing that dating at this age, we're in our late 20s, is so much more fun because you don't waste time with losers.
Yeah.
Of course there's the few who like trick you into thinking they're a good guy and then they're not. But I'm talking about like when you see a red flag, goodbye. When if a guy's not sure about you, goodbye. Like it's so much easier to just walk away from those types of situations because like why would I wait around for you when
That's
there's so many other good guys out there who I'm not going to have to teach them how to treat me. They're just going to know how to treat me and they're just going to choose me. Like it shouldn't be a question. So
I agree. Like you shouldn't be confused.
Yeah.
You should just know.
Dating at this age is just so much more fun. It's just
It is
easier
fun.
to like, I don't want to say bounce from one to the other, but like,
No.
I just feel like when men do things like red flag behaviors or unsure about you or whatever the situation may be, it just at this point is unattractive.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I really want him to like me. I really want him to fix this behavior. I really want this to work out. It's like, that's unattractive and I'm over it.
I agree. But just think overall, like at this age, I am more open to just shutting things down when they're not going the way that I want them to go.
Yeah.
And when I'm not getting what I'm giving.
Yeah. Yeah. If they're not giving you what you give, move on, sis.
I agree.
Yeah. So we've already talked about our best first dates. Let's dive into the nitty gritty and talk about our worst first dates. I have one story. I'm going to go first. It's a more detailed story. Kristen has 2 stories that are just freaking weird.
They're just weird. I'm going to tell 2 stories. One is going to be like super short because I feel like it's just like really weird things that he said. So I don't think I'm going to actually dwell too much on like the actual date. But the second one has a little bit more detail to it.
I can't wait. Hers are so funny.
I don't know how I find these men.
Okay, so for all of our friends watching who do not live in LA, buckle up because I don't think this would happen anywhere else.
I think it could, but I think you just get a different level of weird in other places. Like I feel like Midwest weird is a different weird than out here.
And there's so many transplants out here that I feel like when a guy takes a girl on a date, he doesn't know what kind of girl he's going to get, what she's going to like, what she's into, and vice versa. But like guys who are usually planning the date, taking the initiative and stuff, like they probably don't know how to act. So it's just, you never know what you're going to get when you go on dates out here. So my story starts, and I'm going to give somewhat Cliff Notes version. Otherwise it's going to be way too long. But me and some girlfriends went to the Venice Whaler, and it was like sort of COVID times, like things were open, but everyone had to be sitting at a table. And there was 2 tables of guys next to us. Long story short, somehow I ended up paying for a whole table of guys. One of those guys had asked for my number, so he had my number. And then the next day I was like, why do I have a $200 charge from the Whaler when I bought 1 round of shots?
Oh, yeah.
For my friends, which would have been maybe $50.
Okay. To preface, the whole story, just to help you out a little bit, we were really drunk.
Yes. This will be important later.
Like, we were taking shots drunk.
Like, we don't do shots. We were taking shots. We were very intoxicated. Yep. So, I mean, these boys asked us to go to a party after, And our friend Mackenzie looked at them and said, we can't. We have to go home and brush our hair. That's how drunk we were. I forgot about that. Yeah. So anyways, so the next day, it's all a blur. I don't know who any of these men are. I don't know who this guy texts. I'm not even going to give him a code name or say his real name because I will never talk about him again.
No.
But this guy, I texted him because I was like, hey, I think maybe I paid for your friend's drinks. And he's like, yeah, I think you did. Like, how much do I owe you? And I was like 150. Around that. Like, sorry, I'm not paying for you. I don't know you.
Yeah, of course not.
He ends up Venmoing me 180. So I was like, oh. Okay, well, that was nice.
Yeah.
And
which honestly was even shocking that he agreed to pay you back anyways.
I know.
Because he could have just blocked you and disappeared off the face of the earth.
Very true. But he had...
which might have been preferred.
Yeah. If it weren't for the story, that would be preferred. Yeah. But he obviously had ulterior motives because he then texted me after sending me 180. And I was like, you didn't have to do that. Like, that was more than I needed. And he's like, well, how about you... let me take you to dinner to make up for it. And I was like,
cute.
That seems weird because then you're just paying for me more. But
yes,
also,
but cute.
I understand the concept. So I was like, I remember texting our friends, you guys, was this guy cute? Was he cute? Do we remember?
But we said yes.
And everyone said yes. Mackenzie was like, he was so hot. And I'm like, okay.
I remember him being so cute too.
I was like, okay, bet. At the time, I lived in West Hollywood and he lived downtown LA. So he was like, I'll pick you up and take you to a spot. Lesson learned, never get picked up for a first date because then you can't leave until they want to leave. Okay.
I will never, ever ask someone to pick me up on a first date unless I already know that person. Yep.
Pretty much same for me. In this case, though, I remember thinking it's downtown. I don't know downtown. Yeah. I know there's not going to be parking. There's sketchy areas. Like, I just didn't want to deal with it. So I was like, sure, you can pick me up. So I get in the car and I look at this man and I immediately was like, how drunk were we? Because I am 0% attracted to this man. And he wasn't a bad looking guy, but I was just not attracted to him at all.
We were really drunk.
Really drunk. This was, I don't know, a week or two after all this.
Yeah.
So then we start chatting on the way to dinner. Oh, no. And I'm quickly realizing we don't have much in common.
Oh,
so then I said something about like, well, what about sports? Like, what are your sports teams? Which whoever out there doesn't know me, sports are my life. If you don't like sports...
Hey, if you don't see the Bengals hat and the Bengals blanket, like, then I don't know what to tell you.
But honestly, just all sports. Hockey, baseball, soccer, like, I love them all. So his response to that question was, I don't really watch sports at all. I almost jumped out of the moving car on the freeway. Oof. I was like, woof. Well, we're definitely not going to have anything in common now because that's my whole personality. So.
Which you think at that point, and this is very stereotypical, but I think that would be the safest topic with a guy.
Right.
I would just assume that he knows.
It's also my favorite topic.
Yeah.
So I was like, what are we going to talk about now?
Nothing.
I mean, I'm not kidding. He'd be like, have you seen this movie? And I'd be like, nope. Oh, you know this song? Nope. We didn't know any of this. I said out loud to him, I'm so sorry that I don't know anything you're talking about. I said that to him at one point in the night. So, okay, so I'm not attracted to him. We have nothing in common. He's taking me downtown. I avoid downtown at all costs, okay?
This is why you don't get drunk and accept a date from a stranger.
Never again. Never again. Okay, so we get to this restaurant. We sat outside. It was freezing cold. He sat by the heater. So then they had their regular menu. They had a special limited time menu for like that week. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, the only thing that I ate that day was a piece of toast. So I'm starving at this dinner and I'm looking at the menu and out loud I'm going, oh my God, they have burgers, they have pasta, there's pizza. Like all these things are sounding so good to me and I'm saying it out loud. We look at the other menu and it had, the way it worked was it had an appetizer, a small entree, a large entree, and a dessert. And there were 2 options under each one. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we look at it and I'm literally looking over this menu going, yeah, I either don't like the sound of these or I don't know what they are.
And you're not a picky eater.
No, I'm not.
There are like select things you do not like.
Yeah.
But you're not picky.
I'll try anything 3 times. So I was like, but I was starving in this case. So I was like out loud to him, I'm not going to do that menu. I'm going to get something from this menu. Okay. Mm-hmm. our server comes up. Can I get you guys something to drink? He says, I'm going to have such and such drink. She's going to have this wine. I was like, oh, that was funny. Wasn't funny. Wasn't a joke. He was for real.
The only time that it's okay to order for someone else is if you know that person and know what they like and don't like, I feel like.
Yep, agreed. And if they are like okay with you ordering for them.
But also that said, don't fucking order for me.
Some girls probably like that.
Yeah.
Not me. I will say, whatever wine they brought me was really good. But he didn't even know that I liked wine. So I was like, that was
red?
Weird.
Was it red?
It was red.
Okay.
But it was good. It was like sweet.
Okay.
Which is what I like. Thank God. But like, how would he know? He didn't know.
If it were me, I don't like red wine at all at this point in my life. I know it's an acquired taste, so I feel like the older I get, the more I like it.
Next year's the year.
Next year's the year. 29. No, I think it's going to happen when I'm 30. That just seems like so much more refined.
Dude, I can't wait for our 30s.
I know, me too.
Okay.
Anyways, if it was me, I would be so pissed because I don't even like the smell of red wine.
What if I was sober?
Ooh, good point.
I wasn't, but what if?
Actually, dude, literally the week prior, he was taking shots with you.
Oh, yeah,
so
you're
if
right.
he said you were sober.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe I told him what wine I like when we were
That's true. Okay.
drunk.
Whatever. Keep going.
So our server comes over and is like, are you guys ready to order? Okay. Still hungry. Still looking at the menu. This boy was like, yeah, we're going to try this limited time menu, but we're going to get opposite things so that we can get everything on the menu.
I would die.
As he's saying this, looking at this big juicy burger, thinking, he's joking. He's got to be joking.
I think I actually would have said, what?
I looked up and like laughed and stared at him. He wasn't even looking at me. He was looking at the server. The server's like, okay, sounds good. Walks away. He starts talking about something else. And I'm like,
he was not listening to a word you fucking said,
nope,
dude.
Not one. Might I add, the only thing that we had in common was that we both had just recently watched Hotel Cecil, which is this haunted hotel downtown LA. Okay. That was the only thing we had in common. So the appetizer comes out and it's crackers and cheese and liver bites, chicken liver bites. Okay. Great. So the cheese was in like these cubes and then the bread was like tiny, like this big pieces of like bread, but like cracker type bread.
Okay.
It was like hard. And there were three of those total.
Like 3 pieces of cheese and 3 crackers.
I think there was more cheese, but there were 3 crackers.
And they were small.
There's probably like 6 pieces of cheese.
Jesus
3 small crackers. Whole plate of chicken liver bites though. So thank God. So I immediately go for the cheese and crackers. I eat one. And then I'm like, I'll try anything 3 times. So I take a liver bite and I cut it in half because I'm like, I can't commit to the full thing.
But then you saw what was inside.
It didn't look like anything.
Okay.
It kind of looked like a big bean.
Ew. Okay.
And I eat it. And as I'm eating it, I was like, okay, I'm going to finish this one, but you can have the rest of those. It was bad. It was bad.
I was actually, while you were saying that, I was thinking that I don't think I would hate those, but then I don't know. I feel like the texture might be weird.
It was bad.
Okay.
So bad that by the time I swallowed the food, I was like, I'm actually not going to eat that other half. So I go to grab another cracker. They're gone. He ate the other 2. So I was like, cool. I'm still starving.
Mad game.
And
that guy had mad game.
He loved the chicken liver bites. He scarfed those down so fast. Every single one gone.
Dude, he just wanted to have a hot arm piece on him for dinner one night. I don't know if he knew that you were there.
I'm not sure. Also, keep in mind, I'm freezing cold this whole time. So I'm cold, I'm hungry, and he's pissing me off, okay? Not a good combination. So then the first entree comes, and it was dumplings and ravioli, okay? Both of which I like. It was like a green ravioli. Okay.
Yum.
Dumplings, delicious. Guess how many there were?
4.
3.
Damn it, I almost said 3.
You want to know what I did?
What?
I immediately cut one in half and took the 1 1/2 and put it on my plate. Because I was like, no, sir, you're not taking my dumplings.
Splitting this even.
And the ravioli, I was like, cool, this looks good. So I tried a piece of ravioli. It tasted like edamame, which is good. However, when you're eating ravioli and it tastes like edamame, it was so bad.
Really?
It was horrible.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
But I believe you.
I realize that what I'm saying doesn't sound that bad because I like ravioli and I like edamame. So why would that be bad? But it was bad. So I had one piece of that ravioli. He ate the rest. I had my 1.5 dumplings. They were delicious. The dumplings were delicious, but they were small. Like, I'm starving still.
Yeah.
So then the main entree comes out, and it's lamb shank and an eel. And when I say eel, it was the full eel wrapped in like a spiral on a plate. It still had a head? Yes. I'm pretty sure. It was like really wrapped tight, so I actually don't know what the middle looked like.
Like, I love eel and like sushi, but not as like an entree.
And also, it was
I didn't know you could get eel like that.
I didn't either, but it was spiraled on a plate. So then we go to eat the eel, and we like both cut off like a piece of the end. It was like kind of hard too. Like, I don't know, it was weird. It tasted like burnt chicken, but with fish.
Ew.
Fishy burnt chicken.
Okay.
It was so bad. The lamb shank was okay. There's a lot of fat in it, which I think is a good thing, but I don't like fat in my meat. So, I don't know. It was fine. The eel was bad. And the eel was actually so bad that he took a bite and he was like, "We can't eat that." And I was like, "No." So then he's like, "I'm going to see if they can replace it with something else." And I said, "Get the dumplings again. Those were good."
Yeah.
Our server comes over and he's like, "I'm so sorry. Like, I hate to do this. We really don't like this eel. Is there any way we could swap it out for something else?" And the server's like, "Yeah, no problem." He's like, "Okay, could we get another lamb shank and a box?" A box?
Yeah.
I haven't eaten anything yet. What do you mean a box? What is the box for?
Oh my God.
And then I'm like, am I talking in a different language?
Yes, you weren't there.
I just said, get the dumplings.
He was the only one at dinner that night, actually.
Whatever.
Ew.
Yeah. So they bring out lamb shank and a box, and he immediately puts it in the box and is going on and on about how he's going to have it for dinner tomorrow. That was, keep in mind, that was replacing the eel. So like,
so he got a whole other replacement entree and decided we couldn't eat this one, so let me replace it, but also I'm just going to take it home.
Yep. Dude.
Oh my God,
yes.
dude.
I had never, ever had a bad first date story, ever, until this one. And I still can't wrap my head around how I sat through this dinner.
Dude, I actually don't know how I would have acted.
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh my God, okay.
So dessert came, dessert was fine. Then he's like, "Do you want to come over for drinks?"
Oh, to his place?
Yep.
No.
I said, "No, I need to go home." We don't even have anything to talk about.
All he did was want to hook up with you. That's all he did.
Oh.
That's what he was thinking the whole time.
He didn't even bother to feed me first.
Oh my God.
So I obviously said no. And I was like, I really just want to go home. It was also a weeknight. Like, I got to work in the morning.
Yeah.
Come on, I got school tomorrow. So, he's like, "Okay, well, let's stop at Hotel Cecil." I was like, "No, absolutely not." So Hotel Cecil is like very intermixed with Skid Row, okay? It's not somewhere you want to be at nighttime. Like, you just don't.
It's also still an open and operating building as like a hotel or like half apartment still or whatever it is now.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's like, why are you going there? Why?
Like, just because that's the only thing that we have in common does not mean we're going to have this like deep bonding moment by going to Hotel Cecil. Yeah, that's like
not a good area.
No.
At all.
So what does he do? He goes to Hotel Cecil. And he's like, "I'm just going to pull over, like, get out and I'll take a picture of you in front of it."
No.
That's what I said.
I'm not getting out of this car.
That's exactly what I said. And he's like getting out. And I was like, "Get back in." I yelled at him, Kristen. I don't yell. I don't yell at people. It's not what I do. I just don't do it. I yelled at him to get back in the car, take it out of park, and drive. I was so scared. At this point, I didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, that would have freaked me out. I'd have been like, what the hell are you trying to do with me?
And I was still hungry and I was still cold.
Yeah. Ugh. recipe for disaster.
After yelling at him to the point where when he got back in the car, I was like, I wanted to just disappear. You know, when you just want to like disappear.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. It was horrible. So we start driving, and I don't know what is going on in his head. I don't think much, because he takes out a pack of gum, gives himself a piece of gum, and hands me a piece of gum. And I was like...
Just hands it to you?
Yep. Gum. And I took it because at this point I just felt bad because I was just yelling at him. So like, sure, I'll take the gum. But I had an escape plan, okay? Pulls up to my apartment. Never been happier to see that place. I don't look at him. I grab the door handle, I open the door, and I say, "Thanks for dinner." I don't look at him. Next thing I know, this man grabs my head, pulls me in, and kisses me on the lips. And I just like pulled away, and I was like, and I got out and I left. And he texted me 3 times since then, that night, and then like the next day inviting me to something, and then like a week later inviting me to something else.
What?
I don't believe in ghosting people. I ghosted him. I never texted him back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I hate that guy.
That's the worst date that I've ever been on.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's tough out there.
It's tough. Holy shit, dude.
I know.
That's crazy. Mine don't seem that bad.
No, yours are hilarious.
Mine are just kind of funny and like uncomfortable.
Yours are funny. Mine is like kind of scary.
Like, yeah, that's exactly what I was just about to say. Kind of scary.
There's something wrong with that guy for sure.
Yeah.
But I am $180 richer because of him. I guess technically.
You're $180 and a disgusting dinner richer.
And now I know I don't like eel or chicken liver.
Yeah.
Or when men order for me.
Yeah. What a way to find out.
All right. Well, that concludes my story. Your turn.
Yeah. So I have 2. I'm going to tell you the names of the guys straight off the bat so everyone understands the vibes that are coming.
Yeah, we got to know what's about to hit us.
First guy I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
His name is Kouch Khronicles.
Oh, yes. I love this story.
Second story I'm going to talk about is Booth guy.
Oh, Booth. You got to save the best for last.
Yeah, Booth guy's second for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh my God. And that one's like longer. Anyways, so we're going to start with Kouch guy. Kouch guy, I met on Hinge.
Okay.
And we were just having like really good conversations, I feel like.
Okay.
And he was funny. I'm obviously funny. So it was just like going well. So he actually lived near San Diego.
Okay.
And I obviously am in, we're in Los Angeles.
Right.
And he agreed to meet like somewhere in the middle. So we decided on Long Beach. We went to Ballast Point, which was actually
funny.
A tip from you. You were like, go here. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, that's perfect.
Because it was after my best first date.
Yes.
Crazy.
And I was like, oh my gosh, perfect. I love places like that anyways, like breweries and stuff.
Yeah, good vibes.
So we went and it was really busy. So we had to sit like up on the top, which honestly I preferred, like
that's
the little
where,
rooftop
that's
part.
That's where I sat.
And we had just like a 2-seater high top, like way off to the side.
That's exactly what I had.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my God. Going. Okay. So everything is going like fine. Like it's kind of awkward. We're just getting down to our table. It's a kind of restaurant where you scan the QR code on your phone and order through your phone to your table number. So we both scan it. In my eyes, I would expect I feel like we're both pretty old school with like, we agreed that the guy should pay for the first date.
Yes. And I don't care if you come at me or not for that. That's how it should be. Sorry. That's my opinion.
That's my opinion. I feel like we're pretty old school like that, though. Yeah. Like, I
want a guy who's going to take care of me and provide for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still going to work. I'm still going to put in the work and all that.
Like,
but
date 2, maybe I'll pay.
Yeah. I'm going to offer after the first date.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, sometimes I will pay. But on the first date, if they're the ones that are asking to take you out, they pay for the date.
I agree.
Okay.
Anyways, I am assuming that we're going to be ordering off of one phone, but we're just looking at the menu, right? So I would assume
one would assume
that he would be like, hey, use my phone to order.
Right.
Okay. Well, he doesn't. So I'm looking through. I'm thinking that he's still looking for the drink that he wants, or like the beer that he wants. So I'm like scrolling through, and I'm kind of just like scrolling back and forth because I'm just like, okay, like when is he going to ask me to order from his phone?
Right.
Because I'm obviously not going to add anything to mine.
Right.
Because it's separate.
Right.
So finally, I would say after like 5 minutes, like that's how long it was. I'm like, so what beer are you going to go with? And he looks at me and he goes, oh, I already ordered it. What are you going to go with? And I was like, oh. I literally was like, oh, I haven't ordered yet. I'm having a hard time choosing.
I feel like I would have gotten really sad in that moment. I'd been like,
no, I literally, because it was right off the bat.
Because I think I would have been like, well, I don't want to date this guy. And now I have to sit through the rest of this date.
Right. That was like enough for me to be like, oh, okay. That's how this is going to go. You know? Like it
really sets the tone for the rest of the date.
Exactly. So I ended up ordering from my phone. And I think they had a limited menu or something that day. Because when we went the last time before the Queen Mary, that was like a full menu. And I didn't have that.
I don't think I did either when I went.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
And also, we got like garlic fries, and that wasn't even on the menu when we just went.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they must have changed their menu or something. Mm-hmm. But even like on their beer menu, I was like, none of these are sounding good. Most were IPAs, which I hate. And so I ended up just getting like a sour, and it wasn't very good. This fool literally ordered himself a beer. It comes within like 2 minutes of me asking about it. And so mine's still 10 minutes away. I think he also ordered his dinner before I ordered mine.
Wow.
It was crazy. I literally was like, what? You're not even telling me you're ordering.
He was also on that date by himself.
Yeah, it was crazy. And while this is all happening, our conversation is probably 90% about how much he loves drinking, how much he drinks alcohol, and what he loves to take shots of. And he's like, what about you? What do you take shots of? And I literally looked at him and I was like, I don't like shots. And the whole time I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm 27 years old.
I feel like he went into this date and was like, how can I make this girl hate me as much as possible?
Yeah. Well, you know what? He started it out. He worked for, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but it's a golf company.
Okay.
And that sparked my interest.
I remember when he was talking. That.
Yeah, that sparked my interest, was that he worked for this golf company.
Okay.
And it's like a good one. Like, it's a popular, good golf brand.
Okay.
Anyways. So I was trying to ask him questions about that. And he would talk about it, and then it would somehow get back to how much he drank alcohol.
What?
It was crazy. It was crazy. God. And I feel like he was asking me questions, but I could tell as I was answering them that he was not paying attention to me.
Oh my God.
It was crazy.
I hate that.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, wow, I wish I wasn't here.
Yeah.
And so also while he's talking, he's like so fidgety. I'm like mental noting all of this. And I'm like, this is so weird. Like, stop moving around. Like, it was to the point where it was very noticeable.
Oh my God.
And so then he eventually has to go to the restroom. And I think this was like maybe after we finished eating.
Okay.
And in my mind, I was like, I hope that he's just leaving. Like, I hope that he's just leaving.
That's crazy.
I know. And like, that's the only time I've ever like wished that I got like walked out on or stood up on a date.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever wished that.
Yeah. And at the same time, I'm like, if he comes back, should I leave? Should I leave right now?
Oh my God.
I've also never contemplated that.
That would have been crazy.
Ever. And the reason
oh my God.
So I didn't do it. I obviously stayed because I don't think, I don't have the guts to do that. Unless someone who's actually being awful.
Or like scary.
Yeah, then yeah. No. I would have felt too mean if I walked out.
I'm the same way.
So I sat there. I'm thinking that he's feeling the same way I am, which is, this is horrible. This is so bad. We also didn't really have that much in common, mostly because 90% of our conversation
was
alcohol. And it was just after I did my 100-day sobriety challenge.
Oh.
So I wasn't even drinking really.
Yeah.
I think that is the first drink I had after that challenge.
What is he doing on dating apps? Because there's just no way that he wants a girlfriend.
No, but it's funny because I also was telling him that. Like, he knew that I was doing that challenge.
Oh my God.
And that was my first drink. Like, he knew that.
And he still talked about alcohol the entire time. Mm-hmm. That is so bizarre.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was like smooth brain.
Yeah. Sounds like
not much up there. So anyways, he comes back from the bathroom and I'm like, fuck. I should have left. But I'm thinking that he's just going to like check out and go because he has felt the same way this whole time. No, this man sits down and continues to speak. And I'm like, dude, come on. We have to go.
Oh my God.
And it's like a weeknight. I think we went out on like a Wednesday or Thursday. And I had driven from work, which I worked in like Calabasas at the time.
You were in the car for like 4 hours.
Yeah, and I drove from Calabasas to Long Beach. I think
it took you 2 hours.
Yeah, and I hadn't been home since 6:45, 7 a.m. that morning. I was like, this is terrible. I just wasted so much of my life on this date. Like, I wasted so much of my life when I could have been home. I could be going to bed at a good time. I could have gotten an actual good dinner and enjoyed my conversation with my roommate. Like, watch TV, anything else.
Yeah, but you got a good story.
Yeah, that's true. I guess at the end of the day, it's all for the plot.
What about the shark thing?
Oh my God. Yeah. So this date ended. This is how it ended.
Was he wearing a puka shell necklace? Why do we have that name?
He just gave puka shell vibes.
Okay.
There was no necklace. He just gave such puka shell necklace vibes. And I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, so how'd it end?
So it ended with him telling me pretty much out of nowhere, because we were talking about how I think we were just like sitting, like we could see the ocean. Yeah. And I think there was like a seal or whatever, sea lion. I don't know which ones are out here. Seals. Sea lion. We had a 50% chance. So I think there were sea lions. So we like were watching them. And out of nowhere, this man goes, you know what I think would be so cool? And I was like, what? And he was like, I think it would be so cool if I got bit by a shark, but it didn't actually kill me or take like a limb. And I just had this big scar that I could talk about to people. Like, that would be so cool.
I mean, he's not wrong, but what a weird thing to say.
Sir, you are in your mid to late 20s. So it sounds funny,
like on a first date to say that and be so serious about it out of the blue.
Yeah, no, it was how he said it that I was like, oh, he actually believes this. This isn't like a haha funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, this man wants to jump in the water right now and get bitten by a shark. It was so strange. And I was just like, yeah, I guess so. I literally was like, yeah, I guess that would be cool. And I was like, oh, look, at the time. I'm pretty sure I went, oh my gosh, it's so late. I have to go. And I remember him being like, oh, yeah, I should probably head back too.
He's like, yeah, I got to start doing shots.
Yeah. It's like, I haven't drank in a while.
It's way past shot o'clock.
Yeah. So literally, he must have felt at least a little bit of the same because we left. No, I think by the end, I think he totally felt the same as I did. Because as we walked out, like, we were both very, like, nice and, like, thank you. Like, I was, like, thanking him.
Yeah.
I don't know for what, because he didn't even pay.
Yeah.
And
you had to drive 2 hours to get there, so.
Yes, and I literally hadn't been home in over 12 hours at this point.
Thank you for wasting my time.
Thank you for wasting my time. Anyways, so as we're walking out of the restaurant, we literally look at each other and I was like, all right, well, drive safe. And he was like, yeah, you too. And we just gave each other, I think, like a small hug and then never spoke again.
Wow. I had a very different experience in that parking lot.
Yeah, I know you did.
That is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Puka shell guy, the one who wants to get bit by a shark. Doesn't pay for the girl on the first date.
And loves to rip shots.
Just drinks alcohol all the time. Good luck to whoever ends up with that one. I'm One day he'll grow up. I'm sure he's great.
He's great.
Yep.
I don't know. He's a year older by now, so.
How old was he?
Honestly, I think he was like 25.
So he was younger?
He was younger, and I was 27.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. Well, wasn't the last younger man I dated.
Well, the sad thing is the older ones aren't really
much better.
No. In fact, arguably some are much worse.
Yeah, I would agree.
But your chances of finding a better one are better.
Yeah. Completely. Anyways. Okay. So my second story is about a man we're going to call Booth Guy.
Booth Guy.
Booth Guy.
This is my fave story.
It is so weird, you guys. So weird. Like, I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
This date made me very uncomfortable. So anyways, Booth Guy and I also met on Hinge.
We love Hinge.
Yeah. Conversation was flowing. I think he was actually very funny. And I fell into the trap. The funny trap.
But this is why I hate texting a lot before you meet someone.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can be anybody that you want behind a screen. Mm-hmm. Anybody. They may be the most dud, boring person ever when you meet them in real life. I don't want to text you until we've met and we have a connection.
Yep.
Like, we can text to plan the date, and that's it.
So he took me out to dinner at a place that's actually like really nearby our apartment, like right around the corner. But I didn't take an Uber. I drove because I knew that I would want to be home quick. And I don't know. Now that I look at it in retrospect, maybe I did have a vibe that I was like, I don't really want to hang around. So we get to this dinner, and when we meet, immediately, when I see this man, I was like, oh, this guy's not cute.
Oh, no.
This guy's not cute.
Oh, no.
His pictures.
Was he a catfish?
Kinda.
Oh.
His pictures, his pictures were of him, but they were such good pictures.
Usually guys
it's the opposite.
Are better looking in person than they are in pictures.
It's always the opposite, except this guy. His pictures were so good, and in person, I was like, oh, mm-mm. And so it was already like, and it's not all about looks, but it was, but it already starts a precedent to the state. And I'm like, oh, this is not going well already.
Okay.
Because I'm already like not attracted to him at all. Like to the point where I'm so unattracted already that I would like to go home. And that sounds so bad because it sounds so shallow. But I wish I could just show the pictures that were on his profile and what he looked like in person to you. Because it was a true catfish.
Yeah.
I'm just like in a bad mood. But I'm too nice to leave. I'm also not that shallow. I'm like, I thought this guy was funny. I'm being shallow. I need to hear this guy out.
Yeah, I need to hear his jokes in real life.
Yeah. And because I've gotten funny trapped before.
Yeah.
And
you have.
I did have a good time, but it didn't end well. But I'm like, benefit of the doubt, Kristen, benefit of the doubt. So we go and sit down, and we're in like a corner booth of this restaurant. So I'm in the booth. Next to me is a booth, and then across from me are two chairs.
Okay.
So I sit in the booth, obviously, and he sits across from me in one of the chairs. This is important later on. I'm not just stating as many details as possible.
He is booth guy for a reason.
Yeah. So he's sitting in the chair. Within 5 minutes of us sitting down, he looks at me and goes, yeah, I'm going to find a way to be in the booth with you by the end of this dinner. And I went, no, that's okay. I literally think I said, ha ha ha, no, that's okay. Because I thought he was joking. Like any normal person.
That's so, that's such a weird, that's one of those things where at this age, I would be like, that's a red flag. Like I would feel like he just wants to hook up. I don't know. And I know it's such a little thing and whatever.
But you can feel that vibe.
But that comment would just rub me a little bit the wrong way. I'm not saying I would get up and leave, but I would be like a little bit more on edge.
But like, we don't know each other.
Right, exactly.
This is the first time we're meeting in person. I don't care how long we talked or texted before that. We don't know each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So no, I thought this guy was completely kidding. So I laughed.
Yeah.
And then as we're eating and like ordering appetizers, by the time the appetizers got there, you guys, well, we got drinks, but by the time the appetizers got there, he was already on the side booth. Oh. So not next to me, but like around the corner.
Okay, which is fine.
That's fine. I honestly prefer to sit like that.
Yeah.
With people, because I feel like when you're at one of those tables, it's almost weird to sit across from each other.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like catty corner is like good.
Yeah, because you're still facing each other.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just feels closer. I don't
have to like yell to hear each other.
Exactly. So that's where he's sitting. And in my mind, I'm like, not really thinking anything of it because, again, that's how I prefer to sit at a table like that.
Right.
So we're eating and he just keeps inching and inching and inching closer to me.
God, he didn't even do it like all at once.
No.
He like creepily
it was like over time.
Inched his way in.
And trust that I was inching and inching and inching away.
You like end up moving to a chair on the other side and like jumping chairs down.
It literally crossed my mind. And it was so bad, you guys, to the point where when he eventually made his way to right next to me, he made a joke about putting his arm around me, and he made the classic like, oh, like yawn.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
I didn't remember that.
And the second he yawned, I knew what was happening. The second he yawned, I knew what the fuck was about to go down. And I was like, no fucking way is this man putting his arm around me.
So he inched his way all the way around the booth to get next to you, fake yawned, and put his arm around you.
Yes.
How old was this one? How old was this one?
Like 25 or 26. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you.
God. Oh my God.
Wait, 26, and I found out, and at the end of the day, there's really nothing wrong with this, but it's just not for me. He lived with his parents. Oh. So, yeah, he yawns and put his arm over my shoulder. And
Cringe.
I'm like,
ew.
Absolutely not. And then at the same time, I'm physically leaning away from him. Like, it is so clear what I'm doing that I am leaning and I'm like supporting the weight behind me, leaning so I can hold myself.
Oh my God, you were probably so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like physically and physically.
Yes. And I feel like if you were anyone in that restaurant looking at our table, there was no way to misinterpret what was going on. There was no way not to see how uncomfortable I was.
Oh my God, I bet people were watching. Like, oh my God, look at this guy.
I was even realizing that I was making facial expressions. Like, he would look away and I would just be like,
oh my God.
And then he would look back and I'd be like,
oh my God.
It was... And at the end of the day, maybe I should have said something, whatever, but I was so uncomfortable that I just like couldn't. And then
it's hard when you don't know someone and it's a first date and you don't want to be mean, because what if they're really nice and they're just kind of weird? Yeah. Or I don't know.
And he was nice.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, though, don't listen to me, because definitely speak up if you're uncomfortable no matter what.
Yeah, I agree.
I just get why you didn't, and I don't know if I would have either.
So at one point, I want his hand off of me so bad, and I am so uncomfortable that I don't actually want to tell him that. I lean forward so his hand falls off of my back.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And you know what this man takes the opportunity to do?
Scoot closer
with his hand now around my waist. And now he is rubbing his thumb on my side.
Okay, that actually makes me uncomfortable just thinking about it. If a guy touched me like that I wasn't into or like knew well, I would be so uncomfortable.
I literally, you guys, I think I was so stiff. Like, there's no way that he did not feel how stiff I was, because I was so uncomfortable. I was so uncomfy.
So crazy that he did that.
I was so uncomfy. And I think I literally went, so I have to work tomorrow. So I have to leave soon. And it looks like this place is closing because they were literally turning off their TVs. Like, we should go. We should go.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. You don't want another drink? And I was like, no, I don't. Because I drove here. Like, I would be nice. Because I was like, yeah, like, I would love to, but I shouldn't because I actually have to drive home, like, after this and, like, get up early. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. He opened Uber to call his Uber. And it's 10 fucking minutes away. 10
Oh, well, that's
minutes,
not your
you
problem.
guys.
You drove. Bye.
I know, but he continued talking and he was like, yeah, you want to, like, chill out for the next 10 minutes until my Uber gets here? And I was like, oh no. I was like, yeah, for sure. But as they're, like, turning off the TVs and, like, some of the lights, I'm like, maybe we should just stand and wait outside. Just so I can get out of this fucking booth with him touching me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think we should be fine here. And I was like,
he was going to make a move for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I really think that we should wait outside because it looks like they're waiting for us to get out to, like, clean everything.
Yeah.
And there was one other table in there, but you could tell that they were, like, getting their check and finishing up and all of that. And I was like, we need to fucking get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, they were about to walk out.
Oh my God.
And the lights were, like, being turned off. Like, it was very obvious. I was trying to, like, drag this man out of there and he didn't want to leave. And I was like, this is really embarrassing.
Yeah.
This is really embarrassing.
And the fact that he was that close to you and touching you like that, like, he for sure thought he was going to, like, make out with you at that table.
Yeah. And we were in, like, a back corner of this restaurant.
Oh, God, of course.
Like, it was such, like, a, like, more private kind of area. I finally convinced this man to wait for his Uber outside.
Okay.
Thank fucking Jesus. Because I could not handle this man touching me at all. It was getting to the point where I was getting so uncomfortable and icked out that I was, like, I could feel, like my skin, like, I don't know. Like, what's the saying?
Like, feel yourself crawling out of your skin?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think that's what I felt. Like, I just felt like things were, like, crawling. Like, I was trying to crawl out of my skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And finally, I, like, walk out and he's not touching me anymore. Thank God. I was like, get your fucking hand off me. In my mind. So we finally walk outside, and at this point, his Uber is still, like, 4 or 5 minutes away. This man starts talking about religion.
Oh.
He starts asking me about what I believe in. Because I think he said he celebrated some holiday, and I was like, oh, I don't celebrate. Like, I've never celebrated that one. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, are you, like, whatever? And I was like, well, I grew up that way. And then he started to, like, go off on this, like, religious conversation.
Oh, no.
And I think at one point I went, huh, so religion on the first date. And he, like, laughed. He was like, haha, like, sorry, thinking that I was joking. And I was really, like, so uncomfortable still.
Yeah.
And then finally, by the grace of God, his Uber shows up. And as I'm like, oh, is this your Uber? Like, already kind of walking towards my car. Because he was like, I can walk you to your car. And I was like, no. I'm literally right there. Like, go. I don't need it. I don't need you to walk me to my car.
Please don't. Please don't.
No, I literally was like, no. It's okay. Like, get into the car. And he, like, walked up to me as I was, like, already kind of starting to back away and walk away. Mm-hmm. And I could tell that he was going in for the kiss.
Oh,
he was really going in for it.
How do these men not read the room?
I know.
They only see what they want to see. Yeah. They only hear what they want to hear.
Yeah. I have never swerved someone so hard in my life. I whipped my head to the side, so I was hugging him, but with, like, almost like the side back of my head.
God.
Like, I turned my head so far in and kind of went in sideways, so I was even more, like, turned.
Yeah.
To give him a hug goodbye, and I was like, okay, bye. Like, let me know when you get home. And then I ran to my car. I just felt so icky.
Yeah.
Like, so icky.
And you guys never talked again, did you?
No, he texted me after, and this is what put me off even more. He texted me after and was pretty much asking if the date was okay, but not in a way.
Oh my God. No, he asked if
for, like, reassurance.
Like, yeah. He wanted to know what he could have done better, or what did he say? What was it? Do you have it still?
No, I deleted
Damn.
our text messages. But it was something along the lines of asking me what he could have done better. But in like, I feel like when I'm saying it, how I'm saying it, it sounds like he like, okay, like why didn't you just tell him? But no, it wasn't like that. It was like he was asking for reassurance because I had already told him like it went well because I texted him that I got home.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not gonna like leave him hanging. Like I'll at least be nice and reach out and like thank him for actually paying for this dinner.
Yeah.
So I texted him and was like, hi, just got home. Thank you again for dinner. Like I had a great time. Like that's it. Maybe I could have told him that I did not have a great time, but it was just like end the conversation. I'm never going to chat to this man again after this.
Right.
And then he responds back. He's like, I had a great time too. Is there like anything that I could have done better? It was like something like that. But then he was also asking about like how I felt about him, but in a way of like he felt really insecure about it. And I don't know. I'm just not someone who personally likes that.
No, me either. Like, that would have weirded me out.
Like after a first date, like, sorry, I'm not going to give you that feedback. We're not in a relationship. Yeah. Like, that's weird. Like, I did not have a good time, actually. Anyways, so that's how that ended. And I think he texted me a couple more times after that. And I'll be honest, you guys, I did ghost him. And I'm not against it like Kelsey is, but I did ghost him. And
but these were also usually the worst first dates that we've ever been on. So.
And usually, to be fair, I don't ghost people. I feel like after I meet them.
Yeah.
Even though I guess
if it's before you meet them, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal unless there's some sort of like you've agreed. Never mind.
Yeah, even though I say that, and my literal first story was about me ghosting Kouch Khronicles, but he ghosted me back. Yeah, so I think it was just like a mutual ghosting. That's different. So this was a one-sided ghosting. I ghosted this man. He texted me a couple times after wanting to like hang out or get dinner or something, and I was so icked out by him that I did not respond ever. Yeah, and you know what? I got a text from a random number like around Christmas time, like early New Year's, and it might have been him.
What did it say?
It just said, "Hey, how have you been? Like, how have you been doing or something?"
Oh, did you ever respond?
No, because I didn't know who it was and I was too embarrassed to ask. So anyways, that's how that one ended. And those were the two worst dates I've ever had.
I love those stories, not experiences.
Yeah. I really wish I didn't experience it, but they do make for good stories.
I know. This is good. All right. Well, that wraps up episode 8, our worst first dates that we've ever been on. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the past. Next week we are going to do our February date recap.
Yay! It's time.
We have some exciting ones to talk about, so
I'm excited.
Tune in. And honestly, Kristen she has more dates before then, so we will see which one she picks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have 2 to choose from, so
she's got options.
We'll see.
I have one for sure, and I am going to Vegas with Neighbor Boy this weekend.
Ooh.
But it's a work event, so not sure if we're gonna have time to do anything. So my story may be from last week.
That is a fantastic story. I can't wait to hear it.
Okay. Well, join us next week. We will be posting on every Friday around 8 a.m. Pacific, unless we're having technical difficulties,
which has been happening quite a bit.
It's very likely. So we're going to post on Friday.
Technical issues.
Yeah.
We post on YouTube and on Spotify every Friday at around 8 to 9 Pacific time.
Anytime on Friday.
Yeah, honestly. At any point on Friday, it'll be up at some point.
It's a surprise.
You know as well as we do. So, and that's not a lot. So anyways, follow us on YouTube at Kouch Chronicles.
Yep.
And Instagram at Kouch_Chronicles and TikTok at Kouch.Chronicles. And yeah, that's it.
See you next week.
Okay.
Okay, bye.